All right, guys, you are live with the apartment buying guys. Thank you so much for checking this out. We are here to talk about Pelican Hill Apartments, 88 units, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We're going to show you guys 8% projected cash on cash, 8% pref, got a 19 to 20% projected AAR, and a purchase price of 3.8 million. And this is the big staggering figure, 43,182 a unit. Let's go. All the disclaimers you've seen on every one of these presentations. If you're new to multifamily investing, everything we say here, although hundreds of thousands of dollars have been spent to make sure that they're as accurate as possible, this is still an investment. It is still skeptical numbers put into this deal. It's just something we have to say. If you'd like to read the whole thing, we'll send you the presentation, but we will move on to the apartment buying guys, our why. So a little bit about us. Lance and Adam. I'm Lance. Adam's down there. We're the apartment buying guys. We got into this space by way of single family, like a lot of folks have. We have a thriving single family real estate company called Home Buying Guys. No coincidence there. We based out of Dallas, Fort Worth. Our second market that we kill it in is Oklahoma City. Hence this deal. Also operate very successfully in San Antonio and just launched Houston and Austin this year. So our why has two components. The first one's freedom. We all hear about financial freedom. We talk about it, we live it, we do it. We know real estate can get us there. We just think multifamily allows us to 10x that timeline and really create generational wealth. The second side of that is impact. In the single family space, the pie is just not big enough to split. We've got so many folks that have been so encouraging and so a part of our journey that they pulled us aside going, hey, how can I be a part of Home Buying Guys? Can I throw you some money on a flip? I'd like to be in real estate. What's it like? And hey, man, here we are. That's what multifamily opportunities allow us to do. It is 100% a team sport. This isn't your first deal, and you're familiar with multifamily. You understand there's a lot of partners involved sometimes, and the pie is definitely big enough to split. So this allows us to take our friends and family along for the ride. We truly believe in Zig Ziglar's quote that you can get everything in life that you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. And this is us putting that into action. Obviously, we want all of our communities to be something that, as family men, we feel very proud to own. So those are things that won't hit the spreadsheet, but we're always going to walk every property and have kind of made a promise to ourselves that anything acquired by apartment buying guys we manage and maintain with the heart of tenants as a top priority. So, Adam, let's get into this thing. Why don't you kind of go into the investment highlights?
Yeah, let me go into some of the highlights here. So we've got 88 units, purchase price $3.8 million. That was renegotiated down from an initial price of 5.1 million, which is what it was marketed at. There were a couple of issues that allowed us to renegotiate that price down, so we took advantage of that. Looking at 19 to 20% annual average return, 14% IIR. We do have an 8% pref on this deal here. And you can see the total equity we're looking to raise is $1,863,000 to complete the deal. Our loan terms, we're looking at a 2-year bridge loan. We're looking at a 7.25% floating rate. We do have a 6-month extension built in that we can execute. And then we'll look at refinancing into a agency loan. We're going to look at holding this property for 5 years and then selling it. And then our CapEx budget, we're projecting about $2.3 million ish, which roughly works out to about $25,500 per unit. So we've got quite a bit of work to do on the exterior, on the interior throughout this property. And that is what that's the big opportunity here is injecting that money to improve the property. Again, I mentioned the preferred return, 8%. Minimum investment for you investors is $75,000. We're looking to have the funds in by 5/20 of this month. And our distribution schedule is not going to start until year 2 after we get this property stabilized and get some of the CapEx work done. The occupancy is sitting at 30%, so we got to pull that up so that we can start paying quarterly dividends in year 2.
So guys, why are we in OKC? This is a market that as we presented it to investors, not many folks have had it on their radar until they realize the apartment buying guys love OKC. Couple of the reasons why: strong market fundamentals. Oklahoma City's economy is thriving. They've actually diversified their economy over the last 15, 20 years. Adam, you spent extensive time in Oklahoma City over the last 20 years, which is one of the reasons it's a very focused market for us. Will you kind of shed some light on why you love Oklahoma City, just personally, just from 30,000 feet?
Yeah, so I've been traveling to Oklahoma City for about almost 20 years now. My previous W-2 job, I was up there every single month, selling tools, and then, just have always had an affinity there. We started working or pushing our single family business up there as well. So we've had a lot of experience and know a lot about it. But their economy has changed dramatically the last 10 years. It was very oil and gas heavy before that, and it cycled very similar to the oil and gas industry. So when things were good, they're building buildings. When things are bad, everybody's out of work. And it was very, very extreme there. So they've done a really good job up there of diversifying, bringing in companies, putting out incentives to lure headquarters to Oklahoma City, and they've done it. They've diversified their economy very, very well. Now they've got a strong technology base. They've got some manufacturing base that is not oil and gas related. They've got a lot of aerospace companies have moved in there, and why not? They've got a huge area that is not developed that they can build very, very cheaply there on. Even more so than Dallas Fort Worth and Houston. They've got a lot of land in Oklahoma, and you can get it relatively cheap. So they've done a really, really good job of diversifying that by bringing in companies. That obviously attracts people moving in there, and you can see it down there below what those population growth numbers have looked like based on that diversification.
So we're just 7 miles north of downtown. There's a little loop there. You kind of follow 44, 35, 40 is kind of the south border. But there's a lot of major employers in the area. We've got Hobby Lobby's headquarters, Devon Energy, Oklahoma State University, Dell, Boeing. Paycom is a huge headquarters. It just moved into town. I don't even think it's necessarily reported yet. You see it up there in the Edmond area. I think that's 6,000 employees alone. I don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's a number I've heard many, many times. But this is, one of the things we will always do at Apartment Buying Guys is try to buy the milk and eggs of real estate. And so we want to have properties where people are working, living, and where those working class folks need to live to go to work. And so that's what we have here. I don't think we can be more centrally located into Oklahoma City. There's a couple of great suburbs in Oklahoma City that you'll hear you'll hear about: Edmond, Norman. But in terms of being in Oklahoma City with an OKC address, you want to be where Pelican Hill is. All of our comps are thriving. We've actually struggled comp shopping our competitors because when we're there, we're walking in and the lady's got 3 leases to sign ahead of us and 94% occupancy. So the opportunity is based primarily on the location in Oklahoma City.
What the business plan looks like. So I mentioned heavy renovation. We've got a lot of work to do on this property. We've got some down units that have had a fire. We got some down units because the previous owners and management just chose not to repair it. We've got roofs, with issues. We got plumbing issues. We got it all. So the big heavy lift here is to inject, $25,000 per door into this property and bring it back up to life. Get these units back online and do it very, very quickly. So you can see here what we're planning to do. On the left, on the interior, we've got laminate and stone countertop options going in, black appliances, white cabinets, new lighting and plumbing fixture packages, vinyl plank flooring. And then we're going to take it up a notch with other income improvements like remarketing the 2 1.5 floor plan to a 2-2, initiating a cable internet contract, refreshing the laundry room so we can bump rents there. They don't have a reserve parking program at all. We'll implement that. They do not have a water rubs program and electrical reimbursement program. We'll implement those things. And then on the exterior, we've got, aside from just the basic siding, sidewalk, and roof replacements, we're going to replace some staircases. We're going to add a playground amenity. We're going to add a little barbecue area, maybe a little dog park, just to spruce up the exterior and give it a couple of amenities that will really take this property up a notch. And so with all that wrapped up into a nice package there, you can see at the bottom, our average current rent is sitting at $519 per unit. We're projecting the rental increase to be $775 after our renovation per unit, which comes out to $256 per unit. And if you look at our exit cap rate of 6.4, that generates about $4.2 million in value. One thing to note, that $775 post renovation rental number is what the market is today, but we're very, very conservative and show everybody that that's what we're expecting to get in 2 years. So it's going to be a 2-year rehab plan, and we're projecting to get 2022 rents in 2024 to be very conservative, so that we under promise and over deliver on our returns. Our overall returns here, if you look at the numbers in the red circle there, we're looking at returning 100% of investors' money. That equates to 19-20% per year. That IRR is 14. Obviously, a lot of this is headed towards the back end of the deal. That allows us to stabilize the property, bring it back online, and then we really start showing the value being created and the cash flow being created very, very quickly after that. So if you look at it in terms of individual investor, if you put in 75,000, you're going to walk away with 75,979 plus your 75,000 that you initially invested. So again, that's a little bit over 100% return, 8% cash on cash minimum. And that IRR is, we're projecting a minimum of 14%. That 8% preferred return is an accrued number. So, even though we're not paying that out in year 1, we catch up in year 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's in essence, that's an accrued number that you will see minimum on this investment. And then the one thing that I'll also mention just briefly about taxes is that we have a projected bonus depreciation amount of $42,000.
Let's go.
Your $75,000 investment, which is fantastic. So you invest $75,000, you're going to get a $42,000 depreciation benefit from that investment in year 1.
So guys, I kind of wanted to end looking at the property. It's one thing to kind of talk about value add and all these things. I mean, we threw a lot of things at you in Adam's portion about the business plan of what we need to do to execute. And it almost sounds like, well, dadgum, what am I buying? Like, how's all this work need to be done if it's in a great spot already? And you know what? That bewilders us too. This thing is so undermanaged that it almost is. This is going to be one we talk about for a long time. Apartment buying guys plan on doing this 1,000 units over times 10. But we'll always talk about the time we bought a deal in Oklahoma City at $43K a door. And it's not because it's in a bad area. It's not because it's in a high crime area. It's because of mismanagement, guys. And that is what we do at Apartment Buying Guys. Our background allows us to have the confidence of coming in here at a 25.5 CapEx per door and just executing the heck out of it. So guys, as we wrap up here, initial investment, minimum investment, 75 grand. You see the cash flow here. We're not going to waste your time. We're not at least 2xing your money. We've already talked about what rental increases we think we can do day 1. We truly believe we conservatively underwrote this thing to where we can just outperform the heck out of it. But that's yet to be determined. We have a lot of work to do, and it starts with raising the money. So $1.8 million raise, minimum investment of 75 grand. And this is a 506c. Tell your friends, spread it around. Accredited investors, if you're ready, we're ready. If you not sure if you're accredited, we'll help you get there. Again, we're the Apartment Buying Guys. This is Pelican Hill Apartments, and you don't want to miss this opportunity.